Welcome to this workshop, Dollars and Cents, Budgeting for Financial Success. I am Janelle Cross. After this session, you should be able to fill out this chart with your own ideal spending targets. This chart, which is included in the workbook for this session, highlights the main spending categories, including housing, food and utilities, insurance, emergency savings, retirement savings, debt payments, and general spending. Housing and utilities is often the biggest slice of your budget, representing 20 to 40% of spending. Insurance is an important component of achieving financial safety, and paying for it will consume 5 to 15% of your budget. The amount depends on factors like whether or not your employer provides health insurance, how much life insurance you have, and whether you have full or basic car insurance. Like most things, insurance is something you tackle in stages. First, ensure you have basic coverage and then add more as your financial situation improves. Having a spending plan helps you evaluate how much you can afford to spend now and helps you stay on track for adding more later. Emergency savings is a critical but often overlooked budget category. It lacks immediate gratification, making it easy to skip for things like vacations or entertainment. But if you remember only one thing from this session, let it be this: maintaining an emergency savings account is the single most important thing you can do for your present and future financial well-being. Start by saving $1,000 and work towards saving enough to cover 3 to 12 months of essential expenses. When life throws you a curveball, as it inevitably will, this safety net helps you avoid using retirement funds or credit debt. Aim to save 10 to 20% of your income in your emergency savings account. Perhaps the only money term worse than budgeting is debt. Whether it's credit card debt, student loans, or just debt required to deal with life, making debt payments typically chews up as much as 25% of monthly income. Even the most financially disciplined people need to have fun sometimes. And that's really the point of budgeting, to manage financial resources to responsibly plan for the road ahead while enjoying the stops along the way. 15 to 30% is a typical range for spending money in most budgets. Retirement is likely your biggest savings goal and the one thing you can't take a loan for. Imagine retiring without enough savings and hoping for a loan. The bank will ask for your income, but you're retired, and your assets, you have few, leading to one answer: no income, no assets, no loan. Aim to set aside 10 to 20% for your future retired self. The earlier you start, the easier it is to build the nest egg you will need. And retirement may not be your only money goal. Perhaps you want to save for education for yourself or someone else, or maybe you're dreaming of a vacation home or taking up an expensive hobby. Goal-based savings requires discipline, a long-term focus, and about 5 to 15% of your monthly income. Now you might be thinking, this math doesn't add up, and that's the challenge of the financial safety stage. That means you need to prioritize what matters most. As your finances improve, revisit your spending plan and tackle bigger goals. This is the hierarchy of financial needs. While not intended to be an exhaustive list, it gives you an idea of how to prioritize competing and seemingly endless demands for your dollars. Notice how many of the goals repeat but build on one another. For example, the first time you see emergency savings, the goal is $1,000. But higher up, you'll find emergency savings again with a goal of 3 months of expenses. Similarly, the first time you see retirement savings, the goal is to save enough to be eligible for your full employer match. But then you want to save enough to be on track and eventually try to reach the maximum savings level set by the IRS annually. You can't do everything right away, but each thing you do takes you one rung higher on the hierarchy, closer to reaching your goals and financial freedom. You can build your prioritized spending plan in 3 simple steps. Now, just because they're simple doesn't mean they're easy. Budgeting requires discipline and motivation, but keep your eye on the prize. Taking control of your money is the road to financial freedom. Step 1 is to determine your fixed expenses. List essential things like housing and utility costs, car payments, basic insurance costs, etc. Next, calculate your average variable expenses like utilities, groceries, gas, etc. To get an average spent per month, check past credit or debit card statements or track your spending for 2 to 3 months. Repeat this exercise periodically to account for seasonal changes and infrequent bills, like those app subscriptions that are only billed once per year. Last, track your discretionary spending. This is the hardest step and can lead to feelings of guilt and shame, but resist the temptation to beat yourself up, or worse, cast your budgeting efforts aside. Instead, remember your goal is to control where your money goes, directing your hard earned dollars to things that bring the most joy and satisfaction to your life. Here again, you can review credit card statements or log expenses for a month or two to get a monthly average. Then repeat periodically to refine your budget. That brings us back to our spending plan. With your 3 steps completed, you can compare your actual spending to the typical ranges we reviewed earlier. Look for places to make cuts and set targets for yourself. This is not easy, but don't worry, we're here to help. Gather your data and then schedule a one-to-one meeting so we can help you complete your spending plan. Now you can assess whether your spending is over budget, on track, or under budget. If you're over budget, time to make some creative adjustments. Carpool to work and kids' events to save money on gas. Audit your subscriptions and cancel unused ones. If you signed up for Apple TV to watch Ted Lasso, but you haven't watched anything lately, it's time to cancel. Watch out for convenience fees too. Shop in person and pack lunches to save a bit more. If you're right on track, congratulations. Time to consult the financial hierarchy. Do you have your money priorities in order? For example, if your insurance coverage is inadequate, you might need to shift dollars you're spending in other areas to ensure you have the coverage you need. Finally, if you're lucky enough to be under budget, well, then check the hierarchy and set a new goal. Keep in mind those progressive goals like emergency savings and retirement. There's always something more we can make money do for us. With your spending plan in place, focus on other key aspects of financial safety like emergency savings and health savings accounts. Try out spending discipline activities like defining self-imposed rules for dipping into your emergency savings and honestly assessing needs versus wants. Budgeting is about as exciting as visiting the dentist, but it's just as critical to your financial well-being as flossing is to your dental health. You can get by without it, but you're probably inviting pain and problems along the way. But budgeting doesn't have to be an exercise in limitation either. It's not about denying yourself. It's about making the most of the resources you have so you keep moving toward the things that make you smile. Set small goals and celebrate the milestones you reach along the way. I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions, just reach out. We look forward to connecting with you.